So test. Okay, we're recording, and here we go. So I'm just messing around with this track, Oran Park. I had the race line on because I've never raced here before. And just I'm playing on a really good new updated machine. Really good video card. Everything's on max. This game looks
1 minute 27.054.
so incredibly outdated. The realism of iRacing for what they're charging, they should be starting to drop prices, really, because this game, compared to some of the other race sims that are out there, the other race sims are catching up. Let's just put it that way. Maybe not for oval racing. Oval racing, pretty much, iRacing is king. As R factor is horrible for oval racing, and NASCAR Heat game and this ignition game, horrible. So oval racing, I could see if you were like a serious oval racer.
167.
I can see if you're a serious oval racer and you want to race against the best, or race the best feeling vehicles. I could see why you'd want to race at iRacing. But if you're a road track racer, you're just throwing your money away, really, because this car I'm driving right now pretty much feels lifeless. And before you start spouting, oh, you don't know what you're talking, I was an alpha tester for iRacing. I raced in iRacing for almost 6-7 years.
54.
And yes, I used to complain then about their lack of staying in the future, as far as like just resting on their laurels. Yeah, I owned let's see, NASCAR 2003, NASCAR 2002, NASCAR Racing, NASCAR Heat, NASCAR GPL. I mean, I was a huge supporter of Papyrus, whatever way you want to say it. And everyone's allowed to do what they want with their money, of course. But the bang for your buck, if you're a road track racer, is to get yourself, you can buy on sale, you can pick up R Factor 2, which is a total sim, Automobilista 2, again, I would say that's a work in progress, but it's pretty good. ACC is every bit as good as iRacing now, with all the improvements it's made. Of course, you're limited to just GT3 cars, but the graphics are better, the cars feel better, and now they're caught up with the tire model, which still does need work. But what race game doesn't need work? One thing that's cool about iRacing, I feel like, is now you could set up races with AI, I mean, which is kind of cool. But, their old games, I used to be able to set up races in NASCAR 2003 with friends and have AI all at once. So in some ways it blows my mind that it took them 14 years to add AI and do simple things like that they've implemented in this game.
53.017.
Yes, I do rant. In iRacing, you have to race from the cockpit, and a lot of people on my channel will say, surprised that I don't always run in cockpit. I don't necessarily feel like cockpit is 100% realism. It's great in open wheel cars, fantastic, only way to go in open wheel cars. But in a tin top roof car, the cockpit view does not simulate a real life looking at a windshield experience.
53.7.
Unless you have like very big triple screen monitors. Even in VR, I would argue that it doesn't 100%. Which is probably the closest. I would say VR is closer to real than triple screen monitors, because it's 3D and it's not a 2D. Visually, it's not a 2D platform, which makes a big difference, huge difference. Like when you turn your head, like I guess you could add track IR, but it's still not, even track IR is not the same as VR. If you could stand VR and get your VR all hooked up the right way, I would say VR.
52.3.
I'm making a little bit faster improvement on there. I'm feeling a little weird in the corners. But that's pretty much my rant on iRacing. Anything that wants to charge that much money, you got the iRacing defenders that want to just, go around defending iRacing because they want to justify how much money they paid for it. I was lucky. I had league sponsors, and for a league I ran or managed, and the league sponsors helped me a lot out with content and paying for the tracks and things like that.
51.705.
My laps are getting a little bit better. I'm sure it's way off whatever the faster people are doing. Of course, this is like, what, my fifth lap here ever. I don't like the fact that iRacing double dips. Like, just getting a subscription is not enough. Like, you have to also pay for tracks and cars. It's like, it's not even double dipping, it's triple dipping. And I don't think a significant change will occur in the future, because if they could just stay at a status quo of XYZ amount of subscribers, then they're not going to change their model. But if those subscribers start dipping off, you'll see iRacing.
51.364.
You'll see iRacing then, just like say other games, change their model, maybe make it so like you just pay for the cars only, not the tracks, or you just pay for the tracks only, that type of thing. And a sub, like they'll start dropping like one or the other. But while people still continue to pay $88, like that's $88 is a bare minimum, like the deal right now for 1 year for a returning subscriber. I'm not paying $88 and then having to buy content on top of that. There's no way. Like if it was like something like $36,
52.
or even if it was like say $75 a year, which would be on a Black Friday sale, right? Which would be a really good deal. You pay $75 a year to get the full service. And then normally, like say, if you paid, I would say what would be fair a fair amount is $10 a month, like something like Netflix, 10 to $15 a month. You pay for the whole service. You have options to use all the tracks, all the cars for, say, $120 a year. I'd say that's pretty fair, fairly priced. But I'm not paying $120 a year, paying for the tracks and cars on top of that. No way. Not happening. I paid for $13 for 1 month, and just to get in and see what it felt like compared, because I've been running ACC a lot after I returned to racing, and ACC is like what, $70 or something like that to buy everything. It's way better value. Way better value. I mean, I love I'm not a road track racer. I'm a oval racer, and I still would rather. I'd rather learn and keep working on my road track skills than spend all this money to race ovals at iRacing. Unfortunately, there's not a good AI experience with oval track racing or NASCAR. Really, there's no game that has a really simulation-like experience, because the NASCAR Heat games were horrible. They're just terrible. I wouldn't recommend them to anyone unless you bought it for like $5.
441.
Well, this car feels very, very lifeless. I know this is a very stable car, but it can. The thing is, your car can feel stable, but it doesn't have to feel lifeless at the same time. There's like no immersion.
51.841.
I'm gonna end this stream right here, or actually, it's not even really stream. It's more of a rant on iRacing's prices. And I would say I don't recommend iRacing unless you have no budget and you just don't care. Then buy iRacing. If you love oval track, NASCAR, IndyCar, oval series, I would say get the money together, see how much it costs to buy all the tracks before you get hooked on it, and buy the whole series.
54.
Buy the whole IndyCar series and whatever you need to get to that point of racing, whatever licenses require what. And then just go spend the money and enjoy it. Never look back. But if money is an issue and you don't want to pay $88 a year, and that's the cheapest price, you know, after... Alexa, what's, 10... Well, let's just say, Alexa, stop. Let's just say, $88 times 10, that's 10 years, you paid $880 for iRacing. Yeah, no thanks to that.
52.984.
It might not seem like a lot of money to some people, but just to play a game. I'm not a professional racer. Just to play a game, I'm not spending $880 in that time that I could spend for $880. That's like 1 year of my heating bill I could pay off for that. I could just think of so many different things I'd rather have. For $880, you could buy three beautiful, almost buy three beautiful 32-inch curved screens that you could enjoy with a million other different games. For $880, I just bought a brand new computer, open box computer,
52.606
with a NVIDIA 370 12 gigabyte video card for $1,200. And just to give you an example on what you could do with like $880. $880 you could take and go buy yourself a beautiful DD Fanatec wheel, probably for less than that, the DD1, plus like a rim or two. And you'll be set for racing these other games for many years with a wheel like that. Okay, I'm going to end this. I said I was going to end it before. So. Anyway, thanks guys. We'll talk again soon. Thanks for viewing. Don't forget to hit thumbs up, thumbs down if you hate it. That's fine too. Or, because I'm not monetized, so whatever. And hit subscribe. Appreciate it.